I too am tired of this doggone cold. Oh man, it's bright out here. Anyway, I don't have an ND filter, so you gotta bear with me. Uh, so in this video, we're gonna talk about the load board. But first, let me talk about an incident that I had just last week, right? Or this week, actually. Remember this load that we did? It was a partial load. Remember when we were coming out of Utah on a partial load, and then we picked up another partial load through Landstar that went to the same area, right? So we dropped off the first partial on a Saturday, and then Monday come around, we drop off the other partial, which was a trailer that was sitting right here. There was a trailer with a hose on it, right? Now, that trailer was loaded with a crane, with an overhead crane, okay? So I backed into an area, right? And then they picked it up and loaded and dropped it on there. So that's nice and easy, right? Now, when we got to the delivery, this guy was like, well, it's too heavy, right? It's too top heavy. So I was like, okay, no problems. Why don't you, I gave him a suggestion. See, I'm not telling them how to do this thing, right? I gave him a suggestion. I said, why don't you just lift it up and then I'll pull out of it. They're like, no, we're not doing that. I said, okay, it's your show, right? So I said nothing else about it. And then one of the guys, or the guy that's in charge, I guess, whatever his name was, he was like, you're gonna need to start pulling out your ramps so we can back in a tractor and then hook it up to a tractor and then pull it out. I said, wait a minute. See, these ramps, I didn't get them for free. That's number one. Number two, these ramps were not part of the contract when we agreed upon with Landstar. So I told them, hold up. They said, why? What's wrong? I said, listen, that's not part of the agreement. So let me go communicate this with the broker so we can make sure we clarify things before we made any rash decisions, you know? And then he was like, why? What's the matter? I was like, first of all, number one, I run a business. Number two, that's not part of the contract. Therefore, if something was to happen within that, am I gonna be safely covered if that wasn't communicated through the broker? You see what I mean? So that's number two. And then number three, we're gonna have to talk about the price. And then they were like, ah, come on, man. They were like, just put out the freaking ramps. I said, no, I run this. This whole thing, from the front of that truck all the way to the back of that trailer, if there's a freight on there, I'm in charge of that freight until you sign for that freight, you know, until you say I'm taking responsibility of this freight. At the moment, you ain't signed nothing, and at the same time, that's not part of our contractual agreement within me and the broker. So I need to communicate this with the broker. They were like, okay, well, I tell you what, you call us when you're done talking to the broker. I said, no problem. And then one of the guys was like, man, I've been doing this for 15 years. There's nothing to it. Just put out the ramps. I said, why? If you've been doing this for 15 years, you should know and understand where I'm coming from. No, it's number one. Number two is that, again, this is my show. The reason why I'm being hard about this now, you have to understand, is that, listen, I got the freight to where it needs to be, from point A to point B. All we got to do now is unload it, right? That's it. Now, when we have to back in a tractor in there and hook up that thing to pull it out, we're increasing our risk, okay, that something might happen. When we already know that freight went from point A to point B safely with no problems, all we got to do is unload it, okay? So that's why I did, number one, I did not want to do it, you know? And number two, like I said, those didn't come for free. The negotiation wasn't through, it wasn't agreed upon with ramps, you know? That's why I was like, nah, we're not doing that. And then sure enough, they all got pissed off over there, man, at the receiver. I was like, hey, listen, you guys should understand. You run a business, I run a business. You need to understand this, you know? And if you don't, that's fine. I'm not mad about it. You know what I mean? But I need to communicate this with the broker because I have a contractual agreement with the broker. That's it. That's point blank. There's nothing else to be discussed. You know what I mean? So anyway, they walk away from me, and I called the broker and I told the broker and explained it to him. He said, yeah, man, no problem. He said, I'll give you $100 to do that. I said, man, come on, $100, really? to do? I mean, it's reasonable, right? I he said that's all we pay for accessorials, whatever. I don't know what accessorials cover, but if that was communicated at the pickup, right, then the rate would have been different. If the ramps were communicated at the pickup, the rates would have been different. And then I even told the broker, what if I didn't have ramps? What are they gonna do then? You know what I mean? So it's just crazy, man. So anyway, he's like, I'll tell you what, we can discuss this a little further later on. You communicate with them that I'm giving you permission to use the ramps. No problems. Okay, cool. Now, I told them that, hey, we got a green light from the broker to use the ramps. And they were all pissed off and mad at me. And they wouldn't even talk to me. You know, I was like, wow, these guys do business like this, man. It's crazy, right? What did I do that made them so mad? You know, I don't get it. Anyway, so they did not end up using the ramp. You guess how they ended up unloading it? The same way. Lift it up, and I pull out of the freaking thing. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, really? They're like, okay, we're gonna hook straps on the hinges, right? Where the thing rolls on that frame, we're gonna hook up straps on there, lift it up with a forklift, and then you pull out. Let's talk about the load board. After we dropped off that Wisconsin load yesterday, right, the Clear one, went to a quick trip, and then I actually went to freaking Costco and bought a whole bunch of stuff from Costco. I didn't know there was a Costco right next door to the quick trip, so that was pretty cool. But anyway, and then I started looking at the load. I actually have a load already, so we're just looking at the load board just to see what it looks like, analyze it. You know what I mean? In real time, I wish I had like camera set up here to where I can do switches. You know, there and just switch between, you know, camera angles or whatever, you know what I mean, just doing record, and then I can just piece that together in post editing or in editing, and then freaking just publish it, you know. Because like doing it live, looking at things live, you know, live in real time, looking at the load board live in real time is really a little bit more difficult process, because like when you're recording, you know, it's a little bit different, you know what I mean. So anyway, so let's go look at this, right? Let's just do an example from Eau Claire, Wisconsin, right? So we're doing 200-mile radius, and it's showing 185 results. That's including partials, you know, and less than truckload and things like that. Anyway, really, Eau Claire, usually within that part of Wisconsin, it's not a whole lot of things going on, you know. So that's why I put 200-mile in deadhead radius, right? Anyway, let's go look at this one. It's oversized, right? From Iron River, Michigan to Pascagoula, Michigan. That's way up there, man. That's probably further than 164 miles. See, the thing about Truckstop, when they figure out the miles, I don't know if they're doing it by air miles or by zip code. I don't know how they do it, man. But I know that the miles are always off. They're usually off by at least 30 miles or more, you know. So anyway, so that looks like, that doesn't seem that bad, right? I mean, it's oversized. Well, more than likely, you're not going to go to Chicago. You're going to go probably take the 43 and then to the 39, you know, if I was them. That's how I would route myself, you know, 39 and then the 74 and then pick up the 57, and it goes all the way down pretty much. It should be no problem with these, you know, with this route right here. Yeah, I think this is going to be a good route. So it looks like it's going all the way right there on the I-10, okay? That's a decent route. They're paying $293. That's not good enough, okay? That's not good enough. That's nowhere near even good enough. Not on that OD. Let's see, not on all those states. Tarps. needs 6 foot tarps. So it's 6 foot tall. Oh, there was a couple of loads, a couple of partials. One was going to, uh, let me show you. One was going to Montana. Another one was going into Idaho, on the northern part of Idaho. So like Idaho Falls area, right? What the heck is my map? My phone's been messing up here lately, man. It's like it's running so slow, so sluggish. I updated it and then it started running so sluggish. It's crazy. I think it's like when I'm running a truck stop and running other things, it just starts to slow down. Look at this. I can't do nothing. See, I'm trying to do something. I can't do nothing. It doesn't move. There we go. Finally. It's lagging quite a bit. Anyway, that load, both of those loads, right, we're picking up right here in this area. Both loads, okay? It requires ramps. One was a day cab, T800 day cab, and then the other one was just a regular small forklift, right? Anyway, so they were both picking up right here, and one was dropping off. Um, One was dropping off right here in the Montana area, close to the Billings area. I think it was like Columbus, right there, Columbus. So it was dropping off in Columbus, and then it continues. The next one was dropping off right here on the 15, just close to Idaho Falls area. Where did it go? Right here. This area right here, this whole area. So I think it was more like right northern part of Idaho Falls. I can't remember the exact town. Anyway, it was gonna be an easy one, right? It was gonna be a total of 1,600 miles or something like that. Let's go Idaho Falls direction to. Anyway, battery just died on me. So these partials were running from the southern part of St. Paul area, right, all the way down here. So it was the perfect route, believe it or not, because you're going from St. Paul to right here area, right? So it was the perfect freaking thing. And I believe it was around 1,200 miles. It was going to be around 1,200 miles. So 1,200, and one was being posted for 3,000. The other one was being posted for 2,500. The one from St. Paul to Montana was 2,500. The one from St. Paul all the way to Idaho was 3,000. Okay. I was trying to pitch the one going all the way to Idaho for 3,400. That's what I was pitching that one for. And then the other one, right, I was pitching it for 28. So it would have worked out to where I'd be making like 430. Yeah, 430 a mile on all the miles, right? That's freaking amazing, because I mean, if we're coming from Eau Claire, right? We're coming from Eau Claire all the way down to there. Where the heck did it go? Where Eau Claire? It should be right here. Yeah. So we're coming from Eau Claire, which is like 80 miles away from Minneapolis, like that area. It's probably about 100. Anyway, that would have been perfect. But the problem was, like, the one that's going to Montana, they wanted that thing dropped Saturday, which is tomorrow. And that's like, it's like almost 900 miles, man, for that. It would have probably taken all day to get that thing picked up. Those two picked up, So that's why I didn't think we could make it. That's why I abandoned the whole plan. You know what I mean? But that would have been so great. But I mean, it's like 414. Let's say $4 a mile going into Idaho is not bad, but at the same time, it's not that great, because you have to remember, coming out of Idaho and Salt Lake area, it's gonna be tough. As a matter of fact, I think if you don't have a step deck with ramps, it's gonna be even a lot more tougher than that. You know what I mean? So it's just it's not like, that's why I say it's not that great. You know what I mean? It's good, but it's not that great, right? Okay, so let's go back into it. Now, let's go look at, like, with Wisconsin area, it doesn't seem that great. It, like, the whole area is not great. Like, look at this average, right? 2,700 for 1070 on the miles, and it's showing high there is 3,100, low is 2,500. This one, and it has 2 additional stops. You got to remember, 2 additional stops on that thing. I don't know where. I mean, those 2 additional stops might add freaking 100 extra miles to it. I mean, it's actually not bad. Believe it or not, coming from here going to Texas, okay, that's not a bad load. rate wise, I think, believe it or not, I think the rates are improving. If you're asking me, I think they are looking better. You know what I mean? It looks like some of it is not moving properly. That's why it's probably the rates are probably going up. Okay, so let's go back to uh, the load board, right? Idaho Truck Services. Look at this one. So Wisconsin, this one is probably they're probably trying to move this as a partial, right? They didn't put no other specifics on there like the length, the weight. 4 pallets at that's not bad. That's not bad. Jackson, Wyoming. Yeah. Like that's not bad. At the same time, that's a crappy freaking area, man. That's a crappy area to go into. I mean, like it's not. You're not gonna have a whole lot of partials going in Jackson, Wyoming, right? You're gonna have some partial coming in, say right here in this area, right here. But like if you look at that distance right there, that's no joke. From there to say Idaho Falls, that's probably about 100 miles, and then from Idaho Falls to the Salt Lake area, that's probably another 230, 240 miles. So that's not something to laugh about. That's a lot of distance, right? So yeah, I mean, even though like it's showing this route, I would never take this route. This is what they call the big horn. I think this is what they call Big Horn Hill or a Big Horn Mountain or something like that. I think this is it. Yeah. Oh yeah, Big Horn National Forest, right? So that I'm thinking about the 14. I don't know what they call this one, but anyway, this is probably like you see the road. That's when you see the road like that on the map. That's probably a steep hill or a steep downhill, more than likely. So but either way, I would never take my truck down to there unless we're getting paid really good money. Look at this. Look at this. That's a steep downhill. So this one has to be an uphill. So this part right here is a steep uphill, and this is a steep downhill right here, right there. So yeah, um, I mean, if that was going like let's say right here, say Green River, Wyoming, or Rock Springs, Wyoming, that's perfect. You know what I mean? Because it's along the way, right? Along the way on the highway. So that would be perfect. But unfortunately, I think they're paying that much money because of that. It's only 4 pallets, 2,000 pounds. That's not bad. Like, okay, these guys right here are posting that same load right here. I bet you this is the same exact load. Two different brokers, 4 pallets at 20. Yeah, two different brokers. You see that? Two different brokers. One is at 1050, the other one is at 1,000. Wow. Look at this. Look at this. This is the joke right here. That's why I don't like looking at the load board nowadays because everything is so negative, man. Like you cannot spin anything in here, and this load right here, you cannot spin nothing in here to become positive. Okay, 16 foot at uh 6,000 pounds, and they want is a no tarp, and they're gonna pay 800, which is 86 cents to the mile. I mean, like it's going to Atlanta, understandably, right? I mean, if you're gonna go down that way anyway, I guess I could see that. If I just don't know, I think that's a lot. I mean, I would say 1,200. Yeah, that's perfect. But at that rate, man, and I see some ridiculous things over here, man. Like um, West Virginia, right? Wisconsin. For some reason, the Wisconsin loads, man, the Wisconsin loads are just all like this all the time, man. It's like even last year, right? We were over here last year. Right? That's not so bad into West Virginia, believe it or not. If I'm being honest, right? That's not too bad into West Virginia, but actually, that would not be a bad load, believe it or not. Let's see. Let's see the details. I mean, if that's tarp, I would say no. You know, but that's still not a bad rate. Let's look at the average on that. 1,700. Wow. Okay, I was mistaken. I was absolutely mistaken. Wow. Okay. Wow. I mean, I don't know what that means. Maybe there's like a lot fewer loads that went down that way, so that's why the average is that high. You know what I mean? At least to that particular location. So that's probably why the average is that high. You know. Okay. Let's go look at this one. Look at this one. Wisconsin into Oregon. Wow, it disappeared right away. It's gone. Okay. Uh, I saw that it was going for 80 cents a mile. Wisconsin to Oregon, 20 foot. I think it was 20 foot. That's no good, man. Like, you have to remember, going into Oregon, you have to remember you are paying, I think it's now 26 cents a mile for, because they're not part of the IFTA, right? So you have to pay that. That's it's what they call heavy highway use tax, right? Montana, right here. Montana, it's a step deck load. Fox Lake, Wisconsin. This is anything that's coming out of Fox Lake, Wisconsin is a tractor supply load. It's the trailers. It's a bunch of trailers. It's 5 drops, very quick, 5 drops, and you're gonna end in Montana. Let's see where it's at in Montana. Yeah, that's a big no. You're pretty much in the middle of nowhere. I mean, like it's at the edge of Montana, right? But I don't know where these stops are gonna be, so it's probably gonna be added on quite a few more miles onto that. Yeah. If you're here in this area and you got a step deck 53, that's what they're looking for at Fox Lake, Wisconsin. These guys, uh, you need to get loads from these, not the Midway guys, okay? These Midway guys, no. There was another guys. Hold on. That you want to get loads from. It's Logistics Dynamics Inc. I believe they are out of. They're not posting anything right now. I guess they don't. They got all of their stuff covered, but they have the true rate with those Fox Lake loads. Let me see. Let me go. Let's rate posted rate per mile. Let's see it like that. Okay, this guy's right here, right here. Logistics Dynamic Inc. If you're gonna go with if you're gonna go pick up these trailers, these tractor supply loads, they're really easy load. If you're in the Fox Lake area, Fox Lake, Wisconsin area, even like say Milwaukee area, it's closer to that. You know, these are good load. They're not great as far as like rate per mile wise, but they're really quick and easy, believe it or not. So this one right here, these guys right here, look, Logistics Dynamic LLC. They one pick 8 drops, 624 miles total. They're posting it for 1850. You can't negotiate these, by the way. I don't care how good you are unless you call these guys directly. But I tried calling them last year. Last year they said no. They have 2 set of brokers that they deal with. That's it. Anyway, that's you cannot 624 miles. It's slightly under $2 a mile, right? Like, I mean, under $3 a mile. 624. What is that? 270, 250 maybe 250 a mile with eight drops. But it's all within the Michigan area, right? And it looks like I I hope you don't have to go through that doggone bridge up here, because if you do, right up here, because you got to remember this is all Michigan too, okay? This right here is all Michigan. So if you got to go to the Upper Peninsula, I would say yeah, that's not worth it, you know. But well, as far as the rate, you cannot negotiate these rates. Trust me, you can't, unless you know somebody up there, right? That can negotiate these rates up. But I've tried already with these guys, you know. But if you're gonna get these loads, trust me, get it from Logistics Dynamics LLC. They're the ones. They're the legit brokers for that company. You know, they ship trailers there all the time, man. You know those skeleton trailers, small little trailers. You know, just they there's nothing in there but the tire and the frame. That's it. Anyway, let's go back to. I don't like searching rates per mile, highest rate per mile, because sometimes you miss those loads that are no rate posted, and then you have to pitch your own. And a lot of times, man, what from my experience, that those ones without rate posted on them is that they're looking for somebody who can do it, right? And if your price is, good enough or decent enough, they pitch that to the freaking shipper or whatever, and shipper might accept it. It all depends. So that's why I don't like sorting. I'm not sorting it. You gotta sort it for relevance. No, I'm not sorting anything. Okay, good, good. Okay, so let's go look at a few more. Okay, here you go. Hastings, Minnesota. I called on this load. Not this load in particular, okay? But these guys. So I guess there's like garden area, like, mulch type, that's coming out of this area, right? I wanted to come here and then get over here to Omaha area, right? Because there was a load that was dropping right here, right here, Nebraska City, right? And then I would be within shooting distance from Fremont, and you know what's going on in Fremont. If you've been watching, if you've been on the channel, you know that we got permanent loads coming out of Fremont. They're not really that great to go directly into there and go start picking them up or whatever. But when you're in the Omaha area, they're perfect. I think they're perfect just to get you out of there or whatever. Also, I have somebody that I know from right here in the Madison close area, where Wisconsin Dells, right there. I think it was there. Was it? It was. No, it wasn't Wisconsin Dells. It was anyway. It was right here within this area right here that they ship insulation, and the guy told me, the broker told me, man, they've been requiring tarps on these, a majority of them, even though they don't need it. The majority of them have been requiring tarps. I said, it's understandable. It's because of the winter. Anyway, yeah, it's just, you know, right now, actually, believe it or not, I'm very optimistic about what I'm seeing on the load board. I feel like a lot of it is not moving. That's why the rates are slightly going up. You know what I mean? Oh, right here, look at this. Hastings, Minnesota. I was trying to get this one to 1,200. That's what I wanted. 1,200. These guys would not budge. They said, nope, 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 nope. You said, I might be able to give you $20. That's, nah, I'm good. I'll pass on that. There you go. Omaha, Lincoln, Nebraska. Lincoln, Nebraska is even further than Omaha from Hastings. So they want 900. That makes no sense. It's the same brokerage. So that tells me they have, at the minimum, at the bare minimum, they had at least, if they were able to pitch something to the Omaha one for 850 or whatever, they made probably at least $200 on that load if they're able to book somebody on that load, at 850 or whatever. But okay, here you go. I don't know what is the deal with going into California, really. Coming out of California on an open deck is never good, unless if you're working on the load board, okay? I know there's a lot of things that's going on behind closed doors that I don't know about, okay? I know that. Let's see. This is collect on delivery. Stack of trailers and generators. Tarps needed. There's nothing to discuss here, really. I mean, let's look at it, right? 30 foot of step deck space, 14,000 pounds, $3,200, $69, $70. Anyway, collect on delivery, no problem. Stacks of trailers and generators, tarps needed. Your tarp is going to be torn to hell by the time you get to the destination, trust me. Hey, even right now, going into California, if I was to go to California on open deck, it better be over $3 a mile. That's what I'm getting at, because, like I said, like, let's go look at California. You know what I mean? It's just, let's just look at it. You're going to be there for a long time looking for loads coming out of there, that is worth a damn. So there we go. Yucca, Arizona to Rosemont, Illinois, $1.47. And let's look at the average on that, okay? Average on that, wow, average on that is 4,000. Tracking required must secure smoke charge mandatory. Wow, 4,000. Huh. That's actually a lot better than what I was thinking. That's actually not bad. Okay, I mean, let's go look at distance wise, right? Distance, miles, length. Okay, furthest one. Uh, I mean, yeah, you can get partials coming out of California, right? That's 14 foot, 2,800 miles, 14 foot, 32 cents a mile. I mean, hold on, that's a step deck with ramp. That's a step deck with ramp. What is That's why it's like, you know what I mean? It's so hard not to be negative about the freaking load board. Like these people are posting stuff for no reason. Like nobody will ever take that. Now this one makes a little bit more sense, but at the weight that it has right now, I'd say a big no, and it's going into Florida. So they're looking for non-hot shot. You can't do this with a non-hot shot or with a hot shot. 10,000 pounds, you can't pull nothing else. You know what I mean? So you're gonna go all the way to Florida for 43 cents a mile. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. Uh, that's a losing proposition all day long. Okay, here we go. Now this is one is decent. That's why I was saying like the loads are looking better. Lotus Transport. Who are they? Actually, they're pretty new. 17207. Used machine. Two picks. Oh, where's it? Bakersfield. Okay. 5 miles apart. Three generators, two engines, no tar pieces. Two picks, one drop. Okay. That's not bad, really. I mean, it's still, you're looking at it, you're like, $1.90 a mile. That's why I say what I say. When I go to California, it better be $3 a mile or more at the minimum. You know what I mean? And because so you can easily come in there and pick a load like this and be gone. Because this one is not bad. It's actually based on the way it's trending. Look at that. At 5,200 posted rate, it's actually a high is a 6,000. You know, but that's not bad. That really is not bad. I would probably try to see if I can. If I really gotta go, let's say I asked for 6,000 and they were like, "Can you meet me in the middle?" I would probably meet them in the middle. Yeah, this load. Yeah, I'm surprised that's on there. I'm surprised it's not gone yet. Like this one right here, this is straight garbage, man. If you are taking this into Florida, anytime you go into Florida, you better start charging these people, man. You better start charging them going to Florida because you're not gonna get nothing out of Florida. And that rate right there, 4,000 to go there. I mean, even at 5,700, the high side of that, I would never. You know what I mean? It's just like Florida is such a tough market, man. You're gonna have to deadhead. Like when you're going into Florida, depending on where you go in Florida, where you go into Florida, there's a lot of deadhead that you're gonna have to do. Not counting the tolls they have over there. They have tolls over there on the interstate. So um, this one, 13 foot, 6,700 step deck with ramps. And I think at $1.20, this is good. $1.20, I would probably take that. Alice Chambers, 185 tractor. I don't know what that means, but it's some type of tractor. I think it's gonna be legal. But 13 foot of your space. But I think $1.20 that'd be okay. Look at this one. Look at this one. Like really, Riverside, California, right? 3,300 posted rate. And you know what's crazy? These loads run out of California. It's like they run like I get the idea. I really do. Because you coming in there, right? Let's say you go into California at $3 a mile and then you get a load like this at $1.50 a mile coming out of California. If you were able to do that, let's say where's this from Georgia, right, which is 2,100 miles. So if you can do that and run 4,000 miles that week, you made let's see 21. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? Like the math will math, right? So 2,100 times 3, that's 6,000 plus 33 plus 3,300. You're grossing at 96. So if you can do that in say 8 days. Let's just say 8 days. You got that done in 8 days. That's actually not bad. You know what I mean? Like, think about it. That's not bad. Even though uh, you're looking at it rate per mile wise, that's really not bad. If you can do that like that, you know what I mean? That's if you can do it like that, you know. Um, it's it's real. That's why I say, you know, like everybody's situation is different, right? The way they look at things is different. You know what I mean? Like the way I look at things, it changes from time to time. You know what I mean? Based on where I'm going and things like that. So like the load that we're taking right now is that it's going to Alabama. It's going back to Alabama where we just come from. That load that we took up from Alabama to here, right, to this area, was paying like 2 cents a mile under $3. So it was like 298, 297 or something like that. All the miles, right? Really light load, really easy load. So as you can see, you know what I mean? That load was not bad, right? So then we deadhead right here to where we are right now, 164 miles, right? We're 30 miles. We're gonna be deadheading 164 miles total. We're gonna be deadheading. We're 30 miles away from the pickup. It don't pick up until noon. Anyway, that load is paying 270 a mile going back to Alabama. It drops off on Monday. So you see what I mean? That's like if you look at it, right? So we're gonna be at 1,000 plus 3,000 plus 2,700 by next week. That's where we are, and we had a day off already, and we're gonna have another one for a restart. And you know, we only pulled 3 loads doing that. You know what I mean? It's like that's good, right? That's why I was willing to go back into Alabama for that. You know, for that load. It's gonna be a heavy ass load though. That's it's she's gonna be okay. Hopefully, she can do it. I know she can do it. Anyway, um, yeah, that's what the load board's looking like. Even though, listen, even though the load board right now looks so crappy, man. Even though it looks so, you know what I mean, depressing. Trust me, there's some loads out here you can find. There's some loads out here you can score. You know, it's just a matter of, you know, like perspective, really patience. You know what I mean? Just keep looking and keep asking for things. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to accept it. You know, they don't have to give it to you. Whatever you pitch them, they don't have to give that to you. And at the same time, you don't have to accept it, right? So, in it all depends on situational basis. You know what I mean? You can't like be like, okay, I'm gonna sit around for 4 days and wait for a $3 a mile load, you know. And when I find that $3 a mile load, I'm gonna take it or whatever, you know. It's just, but the problem is like now time is also a factor into that. You know what I mean? So anyway, talk too much. This video went too long. This, you know, I'm hopeful. I am very optimistic and hopeful about the load board. Really, the rates are looking better, even though it's middle of February. The rates are still looking better. In my opinion, you know, compared to uh, where they were a week ago, a couple weeks ago, whatever. Right, they're looking a lot better. I'd say, I'd say, I'm very optimistic about the future of. You know, I mean, I guess you gotta be right. So anyway, we will see you guys in the next video.